On November 21st, 2018, an anonymous user on 4chan had posted an image to the paranormal board X of what was claimed to be an alien. The image was accompanied with the following text. This was a picture that was taken from inside a car that I was working on. Full story that I was working on at about 11 p.m. I heard a bang on the front of the car. I thought it was a raccoon, so I took a picture with flash to scare it off. But when I took a picture, I got this. Having seen this, I turned on my flashlight, only to see that it had disappeared. I had matched up the picture next to the car and the wall behind it, and I measured how tall it would be. It was about 8 feet. Can anyone tell me if this was a prank on me or if this was real? Honestly, I think it's real. I do not know how the poster could react so calmly, especially since he claims he thinks it's real. For people who were active on the site at the time, this allegedly broke 4chan. The alien had a few minor variances, but otherwise resembled a standard gray extraterrestrial that is typically used as the face of aliens in media. It had an iris and distinct pupils rather than just black eyes. Furthermore, it was taller than how gray aliens are typically portrayed. 158 different posters had contributed over 400 comments in response to the original post. This is more than the typical 4chan thread will receive. The photograph was reposted to various social media sites, namely the alien subreddit, where it attracted even more interest and rumors. People immediately thought it was fake. The first comment saying, "Is this a painting, OP? It looks faker than Shillery's soul. Are you testing our intelligence, Anon? It looks like a cardboard cutout. The shadow from the car cast along the body doesn't have any contours. It just remains straight along the whole thing. You have to scroll through a bit to find any sort of speculation that this is real. It's from the Flash. Looks lifelike. Man, this is some serious shit." Someone questions, the Flash cut off 1/6 of its eye and changed its shape? Answering, he doesn't know aliens have facial asymmetry. This received the response, "Are you high? Stop replying." 4chan is a lovely place, full of positivity. One anonymous user speculates, "I really want to shoot down this pic, but way too much of the physiology looks extremely organic. I'm genuinely unable to find a glaring flaw or proof of Photoshop." Someone asks, "Why do I get a sheer feeling of terror looking at this? It's almost instinctual or primal, like we've evolved to fear this type of look, or for a very good reason. I feel helpless, like an animal, when I look at it. It's probably smarter than me and more powerful for all I know, and I'm completely at its mercy." This is simply just because the image is creepy, not necessarily because it's an authentic depiction of an alien. Someone points out all the errors he sees with this post, telling him to quit LARPing or live action role-playing, and calling him a slur, saying nobody works on a car from the passenger seat. There are maybe like 2 minor electrical issues that could apply to. Just working on a car in the dark like you do. That picture's old. They claim to have seen it on 4chan at least 10 times before, though this has been disputed. No one else claims to have seen it prior to the posting, and reverse image searching yielded no results. He continues, "The whole premise of the original poster is stupid. Can you anonymous internet strangers tell me if this was a prank, despite objectively having less information about the situation? Who was nearby? Do they like to pull pranks? Do they have an alien cardboard cutout? Because for some reason, I consider the people on the paranormal board to be an authority figure on what I claim to have happened in my life, more so than myself. Seriously, how dumb are you? Or do you think we are? I mean, he does have a point. Some speculate that the picture's of a real alien, but the poster wasn't the one who originally took it. It's just making the story up. The uploader returned, sticking to his story and sharing pictures from the scene of different angles in daylight. Another user shares their personal story. This is the same goddamn alien I saw with my family in the mountains. It had the same features, and it scared my mother so much she'd passed the shock. The police couldn't believe it, or any of us, and thought it was a person in a costume. There was a light that came straight down after it looked like it was hovering from a lake area, coming towards us, but landed, or whatever, in the middle of the mountains from the stop we were at, off the side of the road. We knew it was a UFO or some kind of weird flying machine. None of us took pictures or a video. After about 20 minutes of watching, our lights were off and we were parked on the side of the road enjoying the stars, and didn't try to record anything because my dad told us to leave our phones in the car because it's family time. Then we heard what sounded like animal noises and went into the car and turned on the headlights and saw a group of these 3 creatures. We all froze. No one said anything. I felt like I froze, and I guess I was in shock. I never felt that feeling before. My hair felt like it went up on my head. Horrible feeling, and my mom started hyperventilating after they started to walk towards the car and reached the windows and tried to open the doors. One was still in the front, and the light shined on its skin suit, or what looked like a thick layer of something. My dad started the car and drove away as calm as he could. After all that, and my mom didn't stop panicking and passed of a stroke from shock at the hospital. We drove straight there and made a police report. Didn't believe it. After my mom passed, all of us knew the truth, and I will never forget it or this creature. This is real, and the governments of the world need to know it's real. If they don't now, my family now carry guns everywhere. This is the most amazing photo of an alien ever taken that shows proof of them. And I know they look exactly like this, but I never seen their eyes directly like this. There should be a YouTube video about it. At least they're part of an alien TV show or documentary. Thanks, OP. Hope you come back and figure out how to take it off the phone. It might be some damn evidence all these idiots need. It's like when they say our minds can't really believe in CGI that is so good it looks to our brain fake because we never seen it in real life or we don't believe in it. Wow, I know to remain calm and not talk about aliens to people because they think you're crazy or the government will investigate you to watch you. They did my family after my mother passed from a close encounter scare. I hate aliens, and one day I am going to kill one in revenge for what they did to my family. 4chan shenanigans are hard to follow, but please try to hang in with me. I know it is difficult. A different user writes, white-skinned gods of the Aztec Empire. They came back, dude. You can trust me. They labeled me as mentally ill because I won't shut up talking about the little one I met in my bedroom that appeared to be on top of me while I was laying down in my bed. You have nothing to worry about. They didn't harm me. Then they most likely wouldn't harm you if you calm down. Despite what many of the original viewers of the thread said, some disagreed, saying this alien is pretty realistic and creepy. I've never seen one with eyes like that, with irises, pupils, and even whites. They're also reflecting the flash. The skin seems to have depth and veins and looks to be some sort of leaning over to look. Notice the top of the steering wheel. The flash projects a shadow there. And the dashboard next to the arm on the right does too. It looks like it's just as surprised as you might have been, but maybe that's just projecting. Guys, this one is really kind of spooky. It was pointed out that the arms don't seem to exist. It has shoulders, but unless it has the thickest, trunkiest arms ever, there is no point where the arms split off from the body. This is most likely a bust or a prop never meant to be shown below the shoulder line, which is why the arms are fused to the body. I find this amusing, but since the poster obviously wasn't working on the car in the moment the picture was taken, someone speculates he was actually masturbating or smoking and was too embarrassed to admit it. Honestly, I don't understand why anyone would be embarrassed to admit anything anonymously on the internet, especially on the cesspool of 4chan, where many much worse things were said. If I was masturbating in a car, I would admit it. Someone else writes, fuck OP. I just want an alien girlfriend to dom me. This better be real. Someone else speculates. This is clearly some CIA thing to distract us from something else going on. I am not claiming these as facts. I am just relaying information that I honestly have no idea what to make of. Greys kind of look like humans because they are a genuine attempt to look as close as possible to them. They are here as probes to communicate with our leaders and take samples of people to improve their ability to blend in. There are multiple tiers of gray. Most look unhuman-like, but some can be genetically engineered to look like real people and blend in at the government agencies. Jewish people, world leaders, and leading Freemasons all worship these entities and have been doing so ever since Babylonian and Egyptian times. I have no idea why, but 4chan seems to have something against Jewish people. The aliens are highly telepathic and only care about Earth's natural resources and psychic energy. Psychic energy is used in alien reproduction process and is necessary to the survival of their species. I have no idea where these guys are getting this information from. These creatures have infested almost every planet in our galaxy. There are 4 planets with intelligent life in the Milky Way. 2 are currently in our solar system. Not sure if this means a 3rd race or just us and the aliens on Earth. The remaining 2 are so far away that we will die out before we encounter them. The aliens are from the Pegasus galaxy and have overcome the distance issue, instantaneous psychic communication, and persistent psychic reproduction. A lot like how fungi reproduce through spores, but mentally through near infinite distances. At this point, I have no idea what I am talking about, and I'm sure you don't either. Why I only use 4chan for old archive posts to research what people are saying about conspiracies for videos. I have absolutely no idea where this person got what would be a huge deal, one of the most important pictures taken. Surely this wouldn't be the first time I have seen it. Reading that 4chan thread honestly exhausted me. I don't know whether this is surprising or not, but there are several alleged pictures of actual aliens on 4chan. I got several of my video ideas from an Internet Mysteries iceberg chart. This one said 4chan alien picture and claimed to be solved. I have no idea which of the 4chan alien pictures they are specifically referring to. Anyway, early 2017 on the 4chan politically incorrect board, a picture allegedly depicting an incredibly lifelike reptilian alien was shared. It was posted anywhere between midnight and 2 a.m. Lab H4C, the alleged location of where the photo was shot, is located around 24 miles to the northwest of Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona. The post with the alien was only online for about a minute, according to accounts. but the thread featuring the extraterrestrial photo was deleted shortly after. The entire website went down for a short period of time. The original image cannot be found anywhere. The contents of the image were described as the aliens had seen from the left side, and it was looking to the left in the picture and slightly at the camera, almost diagonally. Yellow scales, black eyes, with small pursed lips. Another reads, the alien looked like it had scales all over and it was dark in color. The eyes looked like dried up prunes and had human-like features, but much smaller in comparison to its head. The picture was high quality. Perhaps someone is trying hard to cover something up, or the posting of the alien picture and the crashing of 4chan 1 minute after are completely unrelated. Just a huge coincidence. Threads created hours after discussing it just seemed to be people freaking out trying to find evidence. There seems to be no useful information. The fact that no one took a screenshot, downloaded the picture, or stored it somewhere safe, or can accurately recreate the image made several people think this was not real. If you can't do even one of those three things, then this is just artificial drama created purely out of boredom. Then again, the picture was only up for a minute. Would anyone both come across the image and save it that quickly? Several possible images were reposted, but none were ever confirmed. One person wrote, "Found in my cash pool, here it is, spread it far and wide while we still can before 4chan gets shut down again. This is not a drill, it's happening, aliens confirmed." But this just led to a dead image link. Did this person originally post the image, but it was removed? Another user even responded to this, "I remember it." However, this could be easily explained as a troll. If we believed everything we saw on the internet, we would all be dead now. Seems to me that a real picture wouldn't matter all that much. There are already lots of fakes out there. The real one would just blend in. By making a big deal about it, they would be providing proof that it was real by their reaction. Whomever posted the picture would know for sure that what they had was legit. I seriously doubt that this is what happened. In my opinion, this is most likely a hoax, but maybe that's just what they want me to believe. The most likely scenario is that 4chan went down and a quick-thinking troll put this whole thing together afterwards. Remember, it's 4chan we're talking about here. Isn't that the land of the trolls? Also, wouldn't the poster provide more information than just the location of capture? Nothing about this makes sense, but I understand why people are freaking out. This is even claimed to be an edited screenshot. However, it is clear how it was created when you find the original sources of a fabricated image. Anons claim that when they tried to download it, it didn't download or had vanished off their hard drive after. People who claim they saw it say they felt sick, vomited, shook, vibrated, severe psychological effects. No one admitted to shitting themselves though. Someone saved image data. They traced the post to northwest of a military base in Arizona. Tree described checks out as being an Arizona desert tree. General consensus is that a literal alien posted a selfie of itself on the political board and the government removed everything about it. People wasted hours afterwards. The first communication between aliens and humans was on a shit posting forum. On the evening of September 11th, 1997, the Coast to Coast AM radio program's phone lines were open and unscreened, and a special line was set aside for callers with inside knowledge about Area 51, the notorious United States Air Force station long thought to harbor captive UFOs. The show's host, Art Bell, who was broadcasting from his home studio in Nevada, spent the first few hours taking calls from viewers who had outlandish beliefs about government deception. But an odd thing happened in the middle of the broadcast. The frantic caller managed a greeting before saying he wasn't going to have much time.
Hello, Art?
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge. In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
The signal was lost. The broadcast suddenly resumed after 5 minutes of silence. Well, we are now on a backup system. Something knocked us off the air, Bell said. For many who listen to this, it seems this man is truly terrified or an amazing actor. For the seasoned broadcaster, the satellite uplink transmission's failure had no apparent cause. For the rest of the evening, Bell and his audience discussed the specifics of what had happened. On Coast to Coast AM, none of this was particularly unusual. Bell had been broadcasting Coast 5 nights a week from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. PST for almost 10 years. At his peak, he had 15 million nightly listeners across the United States and was renowned for his coverage of supernatural, conspiratorial, and paranormal issues. Art Bell walked so conspiracy podcasts could run. On April 28, 1998, the same man supposedly called back and admitted the initial call had been fake. However, it is unclear whether this was the same individual due to differences in voice, tone, and demeanor.
I'm Brian. I hung up on you last week.
Oh, I see.
And I just figured, damn the torpedoes, I'll just do this and let the chips fall where they will.
All right.
Everybody, I am the Area 51 caller. That's my statement, and let you or whatever tear it apart.
You claim you're the Area 51?
I am the man.
How do you account for the fact, Area 51 caller,
Okay.
that part of the way through your spiel, the satellite went down?
I have no idea, and it scared the heebie-jeebies out of me that night. I've called a number of times on your specialty line nights doing different, kind of wacky characters, and that's all that one was supposed to be. And if the call had been completed, it would have been ancient history by now.
Has it occurred to you, as Barbara Marx Hubbard suggested tonight, that perhaps, if you're really what you say you are, You created the reality of the rest of the situation and took down my satellite.
That scares the heebie-jeebies out of me because it means that what I was saying was somehow correct, and it was fabrication, kind of
Creating a reality.
Yeah, if that was the case, I humbly apologize to you because I love your show, and the last thing I would ever want to do is hear you off the air. What can I do to prove my claim here?
Well, I guess you could give us a little of what you gave us then so that we could hear it and know it to be you.
Are you sure you want me to do that, Art?
I'm positive.
Don't, Art, please. I don't want you to ask me to do this. If I start doing that guy, Okay, okay, what we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They are not. They want those major population centers wiped out. So that the few left will be more easily controllable. Art, please. I don't want you to ask me to do this.
Since the original call was cut off, many people think the government was trying to cover this up. Many people think that this man was desperately trying to uncover the truth. He knew the consequences. You could hear that in his voice. Then the transmission cuts off. It's never done it before. Who or what could have done that? The people that went after the caller, they were able to do it impressively quickly, but not quick enough. He was still able to relay valuable information. Many believe the Art Bell caller passed that night, and when he called back later to say it was a prank, it's obvious that it's not the same person. True, anyone can call up, put on a scared voice and spew shit, but not at the same level this caller did. The fear in his voice, too real. Any laughter of his friends in the background? No. How would you explain the transmission cutting off? Even if this could be explained by him being a good actor, why did the transmission cut off? They'd have to be in a tower very close to the original caster's transmitter and have really high-tech blocker or transmitters. Don't you think that's a little too much effort placed into one prank, only to later call up and admit that it was a prank? Another explanation is that Art could have been in on it. Still, many think this call was real. The man was real. What he said was real, and the man who called back is not him. A man claiming to be the original caller contacted the show Fade to Black 17 years after identifying himself as Brian J.L. Glass. He is well known to the comic book community, even writing for Marvel.
Hello, Jimmy?
You're on the air. You're live.
Yeah, Jimmy. Wow, I can't believe I'm making this call. It's been 17 years. There's a lot of hoopla on the radio, all these years on the internet, all the crazy. 17 years ago, there was a call to the Art Bell program. A man, he called and he claimed to have knowledge of Area 51, and it resulted in a pretty big catastrophe. Some call it radio history. I just know I've been living a nightmare ever since then.
Calm down. It's okay. Where are you calling from?
I have fallen for that trick once. I am not going to tell you where I'm calling from. It's only going to be a matter of time before they're going to be able to use. It's like the technology has advanced. It's 17 fucking years. That's not 17 years. And 17 years. And so, here I am. And I'm calling your show, and I know I can tell you what took the satellite down.
When? Are you talking about back with Art Bell?
Yeah, Area 51. Okay.
Okay. All right. Take a deep breath, my brother.
All right.
What happened?
There was truth back then, and there was this crazy guy in Philadelphia, and he called out of his parents' basement because Art Bell put on a program saying, Area 51 callers, call on in! And this guy, who had nothing to do with Area 51, he called in, and he put on this show, and he said these words, and next thing you know, he said whatever he said, and a satellite went out, and his life has been a living hell since then.
What brought the satellite down?
I don't know. I don't know. He said things at the time about Area 51 and that there was a precursor and to NASA and what the United States government is in contact with is not alien beings. They are beings from another world. They're extra-dimensional, and no one seems to understand that.
Listen. You're yelling. Just calm down. Calm down.
I know what I sound like. It's been hard.
Wow. Are my phone lines down too? We got everything back online. Okay, we got a call coming in right now. We got, 2 calls. It looks like it is working. Hi, you're live on Faded Black. Who's calling?
Hey, it's Rick. How you doing?
Rick, what did you hear?
I heard some guy just do like, that's like he was imitating this one call that Art Bell had from the guy that was calling from a payphone and got found, and then he cut off, and then we had this really weird circus music.
This is Brian Glass, everybody. Yes, the gentleman that made the call 17 years ago on Art Bell. I got to tell you that even though I knew what was going on and I was in on it, you were freaking me out, man. You know what? There are a bunch of calls coming in right now. You know what? Let's just see what people have to say.
I recognized his voice. I've played that clip dozens of times over the years.
And I went and looked on YouTube, and that his clip with Art it's millions of views. Not only is there millions of views on YouTube with that, but that was when Art was at his massive steamrolling peak. And there was probably 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 million people that night that heard it live.
The very first inspiration for the call that became the Area 51 caller was a night that he had vampires calling up. And he at one point, he did it at one of his open lines, he did vampire line. And everyone calling up was supposed to say they were a vampire. And then at one point he had a caller call in to say he was a vampire hunter. And that was where the first inspiration to kind of do the crazy paranoid guy to call in and be a vampire who actually wanted to be killed. And I spent that whole evening, like within the couple of hours that the free lines were open, trying to get through, and I didn't. And it was like 2 weeks later, he did the Area 51 caller. That whole spiel I rattle off is the backstory behind our comic Ship of Fools, about precursor to NASA, and they were extra-dimensional beings and disasters that were going to change the landscape of the world. And I just thought, I'm going to make the call. I'm going to play the same crazy paranoid character. Coincidentally, at the time, in this touring theater group, I was playing a guy in a mental institution in a show called Asylum. And I took the characterization, the language, stuttery pronunciation, and combined it all with the backstory of Ship of Fools and thought, let me make the call. And what no one on the air heard was I had boxes set up in the basement. I had a glass to shatter. And at the very end of the call, when basically things disconnected on Art, was all of a sudden I shrieked, they found me, and I started throwing boxes around, and it ended with a bottle smashing, seconds of dead air. And then I picked up the phone and went, what you have heard, Mr. Bell, was just entertainment for your audience. Click. And I realized I was no longer on the air. And when I tuned in the radio, all hell had broken loose.
Man, I'll never forget it. I remember I was so disturbed after that. The satellite going down and the feed going down, that really happened.
That is, I've been, over the years, I've been accused of various people who, like, of course, you make such a claim as this. You're the Area 51 caller. And immediately you get the people who don't believe it. You immediately feed into the air of conspiracy. But there's the people that then did believe that, that my end of it was theater, and then they've been angry, as if, like, I called Art out of the blue to seed this false information, but it was part of the theater of that night, the Area 51 line.
Right.
And when you listen to the calls that preceded mine, the quality of the, quote, performances varies from quasi-believable to that's a guy having fun on the phone. But it's the idea of the satellite going out in the middle of that call that suddenly took it to a completely different level, that I didn't set out to. Let me fool Art. Let me fool the ufology community. Let me trick people. It was part of the theater of Art Bell's show, and I was just a call that got in. I said something in a fake call that made a real satellite lose Earthlock.
Even if the caller was making it up, they were unable to explain why the signal was interrupted. Even if it was fake, Art was still a fantastic entertainer. Yes, I'm done.